The STEM Construction Summer Camp is an annual program organized by Kaiser Foundation for Social Development, a unit of the Kaiser Group. It was conceived to stir the interest of young school children towards the construction industry and ultimately create the reliable indigenous manpower for the sector in the future. The maiden edition, held in 2016, was a huge success. And it's not just about the successful execution of the scheduled programs, but the overwhelming social, moral, educational, and career impacts it had made on most of the participants in just 1 year.
This is the second year running. We had one last year, 2016. That was our maiden program. And the outcome of that spurred us on to design one for this year.
We are meant to know that the life of the clients and that of the workers are more important than the project. So for that reason, most of the time when I see buildings, I tend to look at features that are supposed to be there and things that are not all right. Even sometimes I'll be so curious that I'll feel like I should enter the building and tell them that some things are not well done.
So when he came back, the excitement was yes.
I finally know what I want to do.
Yes. I'm still going to be a mechatronic engineer, but I'm going to be a construction robotic.
The experience of wow, like this is the first time I'm attending something like this. I'm just changing my orientation.
We saw it was an obvious change in the lives of the children. I remember a mom of one of the students came to me at the end of the camp and said, "What did you do to my son?" And I looked at her, I thought I'd done something wrong. I said, "What did you do to my son?" He said, "The boy I dropped here on Saturday or Sunday is not the same person I'm picking up today. He's been transformed."
The 2017 STEM Summer Camp, themed Molding Emerging Construction Engineers, kick-started on Sunday, August 6, 2017, with the arrival of the organizers, materials, crew members, and equipment at the venue of the program. The Lagos participants were first to arrive, followed by the Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Zaria groups, who were all received at the local airport by the Kaiser Foundation volunteer team. The vice chairman was at hand to give them a warm welcome at the hotel. Finally, we have them all at the hotel, and as usual, we tried to find out from a randomly selected few among them if they really knew why they're gathered from far and near.
We are here for a STEM program, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics at Ibis Hotel.
The program is organized by Kaiser Foundation
for Social Development.
I'm 100% prepared.
And certainly, we were not disappointed. Next was the mandatory issuance of safety kits and instructions on how to use them. A roll call was made based on accommodation arrangements, after which it was time to move to their rooms for some rest. The journey was a long one for most of them, and it was only natural to be hungry. Hence, they were treated to a sumptuous meal by the poolside of the hotel, where the vice chairman of Kaiser Foundation also had an interactive session with them.
You're going to tell me what holds the plane up. All right? So enjoy yourself. I look forward to having a good time with you. As always, I'm your friend. Just be relaxed. Ask me questions. You have me for 1 week. All right?
The day was rounded off with an orientation session where the organizers and foundation stakeholders sought to know them better with mutual introductions and further instructions.
We can't be everywhere at the same time. So these people are going to lead you in everything that you do. So we've split you up into groups so that it's going to be easy for us to manage all your expectations.
On day 2 of the summer camp, the pre-scheduled activities commenced in earnest. It was going to be an all-day indoor training session, starting with the chairman's opening speech.
Resulting from the success of the 2016 STEM program, the foundation wants to develop the STEM program to run on a yearly basis. That's why we're here today. We're looking forward to a time where we can build our houses here with locally produced items to create employment for our people, rather than creating employment for other people.
That was followed by trainings on leadership.
When we talk about building builders, all right, we're talking about 3 things. What are those 3 things?
And safety.
Have you heard about somebody, working in the site and just tell you that person falls?
The Rubik's Cube Challenge was also introduced to them. It was fun to see them solve it. So just 2 days in the camp, what has been the experience so far?
When we entered the hotel, I was overwhelmed. I was surprised. I was like, what?
This is my first time of lodging in a hotel like this.
They serve excellent food. The rooms are very convenient.
From looking at the amount of money spent and the luxury over here, we've really been taken care of.
We're taught on integrity, creativity, leadership.
I've learned that engineering is much more than I have ever imagined.
There's space for everyone in the construction industry.
Today's lecture, I know more in that safety aspect.
And how are they preparing for the days ahead?
The site, I've never been to an engineering site before, so I'm expecting to see one before the end of this program and to know what it feels like to be on a site.
With what I'm seeing in this Kaiser Foundation, to me, I will be the first person to enter the bus to go to the site.
It's the third day of the camp, and apparently the day most of them had been looking forward to, because excursions to sites had been organized for them. They were all set for the first site visit, and were all excited as they filed into the waiting bus, ready to go. Finally, they arrived at the Ilubirin site, where the Perry formwork was being used. They had a brief welcome address and the compulsory safety induction by the Perry staff on site. And now to the business of the day.
Today we are hosting them so that we can tell them and show them what it means to build with modern formwork and scaffold engineering. First of all, we gave them the safety induction about how they need to conduct themselves. Initially, we stopped at the site, showing them how demolition was being done and the advantages of demolition, and also the things they need to do to watch out for to avoid accidents. Then we now went proper into why we're here, which is mainly telling them about formwork and scaffold engineering. We show them a typical demo on formwork installation, where we show them the props, the girders and the plywood. Then furthermore, we now moved on to the scaffold and also explain our scaffolds to them, show them how we have incorporated safety in our scaffolding system to enable people to work even at various heights and making them also feel comfortable. I think this is a good initiative because I realized that Nigeria, we are in deficit of manpower, and in the next few years, most likely this is going to hit us real hard. But developing kids like this at this younger age gives hope to someone like me that at least the future is still greener for Nigeria.
What an awesome experience for these young ones. It's time to leave for another scheduled site visit, but not without a parting gift from the site hosts and summer camp partners, Perry Formwork. Here is their second site visit for the day. It's a Construction Kaiser site, a multi-level car park and event center situated at Lagos Island. And as our culture is, safety induction comes first. This was, however, a unique kind of experience as they were guided through the site not by the regular Construction Kaiser professionals, but by two of the 2016 camp participants who are now interns with the Kaiser Group. It was such an inspiration as they admired these young interns speak to them like real professionals. In the midst of their excitement, the unexpected happened. The emergency whistle went off and there was commotion and confusion. Interestingly, they all played according to the safety rules they were given earlier on, and in a moment, everyone was accounted for at the muster point after a head count was conducted. Thankfully, the incident was just a drill, as announced by the safety officer.
As you just enter into this facility, nobody can say, oh, we are going to have a drill. So emergency is going to happen the same way, when you least expect it.
It was to ensure they understood what they were taught. The fourth day of the camp was going to be another round of career talks and seminar. One thing that must not be ignored in the corporate world and even as individuals is etiquette. Hence, it was important to train them on table manners, corporate and international culture. Some of the Kaiser Group professionals showcased their professions to the participants.
We are particular about them being in the construction industry. Nigeria as a nation is still far from the Western world when it comes to this construction, but we are trying as much as possible to bridge the entire system and ensure that in the next couple of years we have professionals who will be able to undertake construction services in Nigeria and around the world as well.
A distinguished John Maxwell training executive, Mfon Ekpo, started Day 5 with an extremely inspiring discourse on leadership. She left the participants in awe, and her wealth of knowledge shone through them all day. A visit to Construction Kaiser's Oniru site happened just in time for the participants to witness the casting of ground beams by our ready mix partners, Lafarge Holcim. This is the first time most of them witnessed concreting equipment such as the boom pump and mixer trucks. A treat was necessary after crossing the famed Lagos Third Mainland Bridge. Takeout pizza and ice cream was had. They still were energized enough after the day's activities to set up their Lego bricks. This is akin to building blocks of life. It happens step by step, and the participants were made to understand that. It's day 6 and the last day of the camp. Lafarge Holcim, one of our strategic partners, also welcomed the participants warmly to their concrete batching plant. The process of batching, mixing, and transporting concrete was explained and demonstrated to them. The last activity of the camp, called the Trado Urban Night, was one we all couldn't wait to experience. It was a time to showcase their project models, which they had worked assiduously on during the week to create. The organizers were pleasantly surprised at the level of details put into the models. The models were graded, and it was no wonder who the winning team was.
Congratulations!
Aside the anxious moments witnessed during the model presentations, it was generally a night of glitz and glamour. They had so much fun in their colorful attires, and so did the foundation. Overall, the week-long activity was an inspiring program for all stakeholders. The outstanding boy and girl had this to say about the program.
The Kaiser Foundation has really done a lot for us. It's decided to bring us from all nooks and crannies from the country to ensure that more people are aware, more people are giving knowledge on construction.
I want to give a very big thank you to the founders of this great foundation, because they've done a lot. They've actually impacted on our lives a lot.
It's been a pleasant experience so far. I've enjoyed my time being here. We've listened to motivational speakers such as Ms. Mfon, Ms. Tokumbo, and the executive director himself. So they've been really inspiring to us.
And I also want them to bring more children in, so that more children can experience what we've experienced. Let them go through, let them know and learn like we have learned. Because I've learned a lot and I've had fun over here.
So it has really impacted in my life, especially the morals, the leadership, training, the emphasis on integrity, the emphasis on good behavior, the emphasis on passion for whatever you are doing in life. So I want to say a really big thank you to the foundation. There are very few foundations, even those recognized internationally, that will be capable of doing this or that will be able to do this.
They've done a really great job in our lives. They've lit a fire that is never going to go out. So,
amazingly, our program is already yielding fantastic results in just its second year of experience, and we are glad to say it can only get bigger and better because it has come to stay. In a nutshell, this outing was an overwhelming success, and we have our partners and supporters to thank for it. The participants also are grateful. Thank you.